What's up, guys? Welcome to Craft Cohort channel, a new episode of Founders Talk series. And by the nature of our business, we work with a lot of startups from United States. And what we noticed is that in recent months, it became really hard for our clients to raise money from investors. And one reason that popped more often than others is upcoming elections. So today we're going to talk about how presidential election cycle can affect investment startups ecosystem. Kurt, what your experience says about this matter?
Hi, Dmitry. So first off, I just want to say that these are always our opinions. However, we're going to try and steer clear of providing any type of particular skew one direction or the other. We're going to try and give it as neutral as possible when we present this. So keep that in mind as we go along here. But one thing's for sure is that political climate during an election cycle can create uncertainty in the market. So investors may be unsure of future policies and economic conditions. This could lead to slowdowns in investment, which we commonly see since we work with a lot of startups. So this can be particularly challenging for those startups that rely on this investment and funding for their day-to-day operations, their growth, and future expansion. This is something that is an impact that can be felt across various sectors, including technology, which we work within, certainly within clean energy, traditional energy, healthcare, small businesses, et cetera. There are a lot of places where the political climate can certainly have an influence and really affect things.
And how do the views of potential winner can affect a specific types of businesses or startups?
So the views of a potential winner can significantly impact the sectors that they might prioritize. So an example would be a focus on climate change could benefit clean energy startups or the clean energy sector in general, while a focus on deregulation could benefit fintech startups, which are usually more prone to scrutiny and regulation. In the healthcare sector, another sector that we work within frequently, a focus on expanding access could benefit startups offering innovative healthcare solutions, while a focus on cost cutting could benefit startups or companies offering efficiency solutions to help reduce costs.
And let's get closer to candidates. So what are the potential impacts if the Democrat candidate wins, and how this can affect their startup investments?
Yes, this is where we often see, kind of a generalized push one direction or the other, whether there's a Democrat that wins or a Republican that wins. So in the case if a Democrat wins, specifically we're talking about Kamala Harris right now, this could lead to policies that favor social equity, environmental sustainability, and oftentimes with that can come some increase in regulation. So these type of things can benefit the clean energy sectors, which we spoke about earlier, certainly can help social entrepreneurship and definitely healthcare. That's been a big push on that front for a while there, is really bringing more healthcare availability to multiple people. So, however, the potential downsides could be, increased regulation, potential tax changes, tax increases, and that could lead to concern for some investors. There's that uncertainty factor, which is what we've been seeing in our side with the companies that we work with, while they're kind of waiting for funding, because while it's uncertain as to which candidate is going to win, we don't know what policies are going to be moved forward and how they're going to impact the future of these companies. So other things to think about here are, the technology sector. There could be stricter regulations on data privacy and antitrust. This time of year in the United States specifically, and with a lot of these technology companies being US based, right now we're getting a whole bunch of updates to terms and conditions and privacy policies. Sometimes that is in preparation for which candidate might be winning, or it could be something that changes next year around this time or in the spring, which is another common time for a lot of updates to privacy policies. We could see more changes there. Things in the energy sector that we talked about, those might face different challenges, especially traditional energy. that could have to deal with stronger focus on clean energy. So you're going to see that shift from one type of energy to another. And then small businesses, those could benefit from policies aimed at reducing income equality, and as well as policies that are designed to improve access and availability to healthcare.
And on the other hand, what would be the potential impacts of startup investments if the Republican wins?
Sure. So if a Republican wins, in this case Donald Trump, this could lead to policies that favor deregulation and lower taxes, basically the opposite of what we talked about in the case of a Democrat winning. So this could lead to stimulation of investments, because now with less regulation and less taxes, they see more potential upside. However, startups in sectors like clean energy could face challenges due to less emphasis on environmental policies. The technology sector could mean, if a Republican wins, could mean less regulation, and this could potentially help foster some innovation, because a lot of technology is experimenting with new things, and you don't know exactly what the outcome of that is going to be until you put it out in the marketplace and allow it to live and breathe for a little bit. So, but this could lead to concerns about data privacy or monopolistic practices. So there's always two sides of the coin and everything that you have to think about in this case. But all of these things affect multiple sectors and investment and startup capital in general, including, like we talked about before, the energy sectors. In this case, particularly fossil fuels, those might see a bit of a boost if a Republican wins. Small businesses, another category that we've been talking about, they might benefit from tax cuts and deregulation, but they could face challenges if there are cuts to safety nets or other things that are designed to help support these small businesses or the employees within those small businesses.
And let's look back in perspective a little bit. What are the historical trends of startup investments during the election years?
Historically, we tend to show a slowdown in startup funding during these election years, and this is mostly due to that market uncertainty that we spoke about before. However, the benefit is that post-election period, we can often see a rebound in investment, and sometimes a lot of investors are making up for investments that they may have put off the year or months prior, because now with the adjustments to the new political landscape, they know what's going to be happening, trends can be observed across the various sectors, and there's more confidence from investors in general.
So can you please elaborate a little bit more what startups can expect in post-election period regardless of the winner?
Sure. So as I mentioned there a little bit earlier, the post-election period, startups can expect a clearer picture of the policy landscape. This can influence, the investment decisions that come into their companies, and there's a lot more confidence in moving forward because there's an idea now. They've been able to observe some type of trend, or whether that might be a current trend or a historical trend. There's at least something there now with which they can look back on and say, okay, this is kind of where things are going. It also gives startups a chance to pivot their approach to things. So it's important to remember that regardless of the winner, startups need to remain adaptable and resilient to changes, because even if there's one winner or another, one side or another, just because you start off with a political landscape in a particular way, there are still a lot of other influences on the political system in general. The United States system is made up of multiple branches that all have an influence in the overall policy and changes for the country, as well as individual state policies that can also be interpreted and treated slightly different than federal policies. So there's a lot going on in a lot of different places, but trying to set up and be resilient is going to be important for startups in this case. And this is true for all sectors, whether that's technology, whether that's clean energy, traditional energy, healthcare, small businesses. Everyone really needs to be paying attention to what's going on.
So to wrap up, Kurt, what we can advise to startups to navigate the election period uncertainty?
The navigation of uncertainty during this period can certainly be helped by diversifying their funding sources, by building strong customer relationships, by focusing on their business resilience, making sure that they have a diverse customer base, that they aren't relying on one particular source of funding or another. If it's just this particular group of investors that you're looking to get funding from, well then, if a policy change comes down that might limit their ability or confidence in investing in your business, you would like to be able to have someone else to go to for that possible funding. And it's important that small businesses and startups stay informed about the potential policy changes, the impact that they might have on their sector, on their business directly, and on their employees. A lot of these things can be affected here, and then they just need to be ready to adapt. That flexibility and adaptability is important because we really just don't know what's going to happen. And even if it were outside of a political election cycle, these are important things to keep in mind, because at any point, a funding source can go away, a particular customer group could go away. So maintaining that flexibility, that resilience, that diversity is going to be really important. And then finally, it's important to remember that all of this stuff applies to all sectors, from technology to healthcare, the same things that we always work within.
So guys, good luck with your startups, businesses and fundraising. If you enjoyed this video, please support the channel with like and subscription, and let us know in the comments below what else you would like us to highlight. See you!